Hi, my name is Samuel Lubega. Thank you for joining today in the first ever Samuel Lubega podcast. We're going to be talking about today's title is I Bet You've Never Danced a Day in Your Life. Now, this quote comes from this episode of The Boys, and if you've never seen The Boys, all you really need to know about it is it's actually a pretty good show. It's basically if the world had superpowers, but everybody kind of works under the kind of preconceived notion of American capitalism and American identity. So hubris, self-fulfilling prophecies, stuff like that. And it's delivered by a character who doesn't have superpowers. And I think one of the things that's really beautiful about it is the fact that, sometimes you're not put in a position of power to change. And that's all harsh reality of life, is that you might not always be able to make that change that you want to see in the world. Sorry, I gotta adjust this. And you're put in this position to where now what do I do about it? Do I kind of forfeit my autonomy? Do I forfeit the ability to want to do anything simply because I know I can't change? Or do I do what I can? Like a lot of people think, like, alright, maybe I can never be a bodybuilder, but I can go to the gym. Alright, maybe I'll never have the physique of, I don't know who you look up to, maybe like a supermodel, but I can be better than who I was yesterday. But I think in a world that, idolizes materialism and idolizes the people who are at the top 1% so much, is that these people that we can't catch up to become our new gods. They become our new idols. And most of the time, the people that are in those positions of unattainable status or unattainable wealth or unattainable, structure, is that they don't see the world the same way that we do. And what a lot of us fail to recognize is that the people that control culture, that control identity, that control the human experience are those people with very little power, because they find a way to make life feel organic. There's nothing organic about being perfect. The pursuit of perfection is just that. It's a pursuit. Once you attain perfection, there's nowhere to go. You can't go up. You're perfect. You can't go sideways, you're perfect. So it's one of those things that we all chase after, but in that strive for greatness is where you figure out what your themes of life might be. And in The Boys, this show, it's very inappropriate. I wouldn't tell you to go out and watch it, especially if you're one of those people with very you're quick to upset, or you have a bad stomach about things. I wouldn't watch the show, but it does touch on a couple of key points that I think are very important, which is, in this scene, there is basically this guy, his name is Frenchie, and he's caught, and he doesn't have any superpowers. He can't get out of this situation, and he's basically risking his life for his love. And he's caught by essentially this guy named Homelander. He's like imagine Superman if Superman was evil, and not even a little evil, but comedically evil. Imagine if Superman was just the president of the United States. It would be really different. And so Homelander catches Frenchie after he's hidden away his girlfriend, and he's about to kill him, and he can't do anything about the situation. A lot of times this is where you think you beg for your life, or you cry, or you try to negotiate, or you bargain. But he just delivers this line where he says, I bet you've never danced a day in your life. And I think that encaptures everything about where we are right now in the year 2026. Is that the people who have never danced a day in their life are also the same people who are forcing us to dance. It's a metaphor for what it means to not only entertain, but to bring joy to oneself. Like, if you were to hop on your phone and you see a group of people, I don't know, maybe they're jumping over a canyon, maybe it's like a Red Bull commercial and they're jumping over a canyon and they got their motorcycles, they're doing backflips, and you like that, you're going to watch 10 more videos of it, but you also are probably the person not going to put yourself in that position to get on the motorcycle, put yourself in harm's way, and attempt to do that flip. Right? We've gotten such a voyeurism of watching the things that we deem entertainment instead of doing the things that entertain us. Because doing the things that entertain us are hard. Doing the things that entertain us take time, take skill, and take commitment. And in a modern society where, everything is instant gratification, or you throw yourself onto an AI chatbot and, revitalize all the preconceived notions that you have of yourself, it's easy to ignore the work that it takes to get somewhere. And when it feels like the work that you need to do to get somewhere is simply open your phone, ask the magic box on what you want to see, and bam, sit back and relax and, take head on a couple of ads that all suggest, things that you may or may not want to buy, or if it's gambling, or if it's, clothes, or it targets how it is that you view or see yourself, if that's all it takes to, accomplish those metaphorical voyages, like the sitting in the chair while watching somebody else complete your dreams, then, that's the sacrifice that, we choose, but it's a choice. The alternative, right, is to do something out of love. To do something not to be the best at it, but to pursue yourself in an adventure. The best example I can think of is when you go to ride your bike. Well, the first time you've ever learned to ride a bike. I hope that every person on this planet still is learning how to ride a bike. I don't know if that's going to be a 2010 experience or a 2020 experience, or we're going to hit the year 2040 and everybody's going to be like, no, why would I ride a bike when I could just put on the headset and, dream of riding the bike? No, I hope that's an experience that everybody gets. Because it's one of those that is such, I won't say influential, but such a pivotal point of your life where you go from fear to comfort. You go from, to a sense of surety. Like, once you know how to ride a bike, you don't question how to ride a bike. You just, I know how to ride a bike. How? I learned. But that experience of learning took somebody guiding you and then them taking the leap of faith to let you go. And sometimes people let go and the kid takes off and goes perfectly on the first try. And sometimes, you let go, he hits a mailbox, gets a rash on his knee, he cries, you bring him inside, you feed him ice cream. And then 3 days later, they're like, hey, I wanna learn how to ride a bike again. It's the same way of somebody saying, you gotta get back up on that horse. There is a power in that experience. And I think so many people are missing the power of that experience because they don't recognize that the value isn't in the monetization of that said experience. It's in the transformation of putting yourself through it. And so when have this, you have this ability to try new experiences. Most of the time we always cop out before you realize what it means to do them. And dancing is one of those things that you don't always have to do alone. It's very embarrassing. It's one of those things where, I don't know if whoever is listening to this is old enough to have been out to a party or even like a middle school dance or high school dance, or you go to the bar or club. You never care about the person who dances poorly. You always breathe life into the person who dances unapologetically. There's no such thing as a bad dance move. It's only the energy that you pour into what it is you're delivering to the people. Like if I'm watching you and you got a weird elbow thing that you rocking out, but you smiling and you loving it, guess what? The people flock to that. They love that. Now you're teaching other people, hey man, how'd you do that elbow dance? You don't know. You were just in your room one day and you heard a Pitbull song and your body went absolutely insane. It's one of the most human experiences to put yourself in a position to be free. And when I thought about the idea of, there are some people who never danced a day in their life. They've never seen the value in trying something for the sake of bringing joy to oneself. There are some people in the world who only see things as a means of production, only see things as a means to an end, or see things as a means of capital. And those people, more often than not, will always do their best to exploit the value in existence from those who don't see a purpose in it. And so they think they might run the world, but everything that makes the world run is out of their hands. And we kind of play this game along with them to keep the moments that we have with the people that we love. And I don't know if it's a matter of change that allows people to be able to put themselves in that position to find what it is that makes them feel alive. But it always does take one person. For most people to ride a bike, it was your mom or your dad or your older brother, maybe a cousin. But for the people who don't have that, sometimes it takes, a stranger to invite them to a club. Oh, you like chess? Let's go to a chess club. You like math? Let's go to a math club. You like science? Let's go to a science club. There are these people who can be forces of good. And I think once we take that power back of, you can always be a force of good, and how people react to it is how they're going to react to it. There will always be people who will try to enslave this AI for the sake of avoiding human experiences, for the sake of avoiding the work that it takes to recognize what it means to put 1,000 hours in. Be that writing, be that cooking, be that singing, be that dancing, be that playing a sport. But those hours come from that love that most of the time you experience with somebody else. Like dance. And so the next time you think of somebody who is just the embodiment of somebody you don't want to hang around, they hate at every turn that they can, They doubt every dream that you have. Just think to yourself, I bet you've never danced a day in your life. That's episode 1 of the Sam Lubega podcast. Ugh. Sam Lubega podcast. I'm going to try to keep these things short until I can at least share it out. So I want to grow, get about 10 people so I can get a vibe of what you guys want to hear. But I'm going to try to be at least consistent on posting, if not 3 times a week, at minimum 2 on Tuesdays and Fridays. So hope you guys have a good rest of your week. And always remember to check to see if your phone is charging. Never want to wake up with a dead phone. That's not fun. Alright, bye.